Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of College Football After Dark, right here at the Voice of College Football. Unfortunately, Ben is not here tonight, but he will be back next Sunday. So I am the interim main host for the time being. So I'm yours truly, Jackson Johnson. And I got these guys with me, Will and D and Sean Spazdog. And we will be going over quite a lot about the latest news and notes in all of college football. But also, we will be going over what we believe will be the top trap games of the 2024 season. And let me tell you something, folks, it's going to be a wild ride. How you gentlemen doing tonight?
Oh my
Good.
god. I'm doing good.
Will, just like to introduce yourself for those that are just tuning in for the first time ever.
I'm a Will ND. I'm a diehard Notre Dame Fighting Irish football fan. And yeah, just ready for the season to start.
Well, let's go. And Sean, give you an introduction.
I'm Spaz. That's what they call me. My name's Sean. You can find me over there on the X, wherever. I always do that backwards shit. Anyways, I'm a big Duck Quack Quack supporter, co-host of Oregon Live on Voice College Football, and you can find us on Tuesday nights.
There we go. That's going to be exciting. And it's yours truly, Jackson Johnson, in tonight's edition of CFBF Dark. But of course, if you love top-notch content in all of college football, where you can find the top betting advice or top watch parties, predictions, and insider looks, go to patreon.com/MarkRogersTV or become a YouTube member at The Voice College Football, where you can be a part of this panel every Sunday night on The Voice College Football for CFB After Dark. Gentlemen, before we get to the trap games, there's been a lot of injuries going around, like CJ Baxter at Texas, and it's just been a cluster. What was going on with them?
I mean, Texas, I'm sure they have other running backs that are highly recruited because they're Texas. But you never want to lose your starting back. So I think they'll probably be all right, though.
They'll be all right with Blue.
What'd you say?
They'll be all right with Blue as their backup.
Well, we're definitely going to find out and see what happens going into Michigan in week 2. And, they got Christian Clark, they got walk-on Colin Page, and they got Nick Sanders, who's just in time for fall camp. And I wonder how they're going to be feeling going into week 1.
I mean, week 1, they probably aren't going to show much because they want to be ready for their game in Ann Arbor. So they'll probably just try to win with a pretty vanilla game plan.
Yeah. It's just not looking so good for Texas.
I mean, that defense, Michigan defense is going to be a big test for Sark. So it'll be interesting to see what he
definitely hurts with CJ Baxter out. That's going to hurt their run game some. But Blue's more of a slasher. So if they can get on the edge and get some holes for him to go through, they'd be all right. But if they have to ground it, they don't have a ground and pound with no Baxter. So that's going to be tough. If Michigan forces them to throw the ball, we're going to see real early if Quinn Ewers has his accuracy down this year or not.
It's a huge test for Ewers. Like, if he puts on a show, like, that can really boost his Heisman hype. But it'll be tough. I mean, Michigan's pretty much bringing back their defense, so it won't be easy.
No, it won't be. Especially in the first year of the SEC. because that's going to be. We're going to find out quite a lot about the Longhorns, especially about their running game.
As Nick said, like I feel like Texas always has a few good backs, but never good to lose, especially a ground and pounder.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike Fort said, yeah, he'll be back. Oh, there we go. Oh, we wish you nothing but awesomeness. We are always happy to see you, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Congrats on your Masters.
There we go. But another team has had a huge running back injury, and that's the Texas A&M Aggies. What's been going on with them? I wonder what's the reaction to what happened today with Reuben Owens.
I mean, he's not their main back, but it still hurts to have him as he was going to be like the second running back. So at least they didn't lose their first running back. So that's good, something for them, but it's never good to lose someone that will be that was going to play a part in their offense.
Well, and as Pete Thamel reported, it was a lower body injury during a scrimmage on Saturday. And, it says that the running backs that are lining up are Amari Daniels, Le'Veon Moss, and E.J. Smith, who is the son of Emmitt Smith. How are they feeling about the running game so far?
Well, I'm hoping it won't be easy, especially against my Irish, especially because we're pretty much bringing back a very similar D-line that was successful last year, except we switched out one portal edge rusher for another. So I'm hoping they won't be able to run the ball very well, but we'll see. We'll see August 31st.
Spaz, what do you think about the running game for Texas A&M and how their running back is doing?
I hope the Irish beat them because I've been listening to a few Texas A&M guys, and I hope the Irish stuff them in a locker just like we did on the recruiting trail this summer.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about A&M is they tend to get really overhyped every time they get that one big win that they shouldn't.
If they beat Notre Dame, it's going to be unbearable in some of the spaces.
Well, that kind of sounds like throwing the cart in before the horse, because I mean, it's a week 1 victory, not a week 12 victory.
Yeah, but it's Texas A&M, and they're all delusional down there.
They're interesting.
I mean, they haven't even won a natty since 1939. I mean, it's good God. Because we keep expecting a return on investment for all that Aggie.
Nick Swarton's going to be they have two good D linemen, so it'll be a big test for our O line if we can. But if we hold up pretty well and we give Riley time, I think we'll be good. But I don't know. I think Riley might have to do a bit of scrambling in this one. In the game.
Oh, that's right. You guys got Riley to transfer from Duke.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup. Mike Elko, Riley Leonard going against one another. I mean, seriously, who would have thought that a year ago?
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting storyline for sure.
Texas 8-4. Now
Don't tell Aggie fans that.
Well, now we've gotten to the topic, especially for tonight. The top trap games of the 2024 season. And what are the games that are coming to mind that you feel are a trap game? We'll start with you, Will.
I'm thinking October 5th, Auburn going to Georgia. And that's right after Georgia's game in Bryant-Denny in Alabama. And if you remember last year, Auburn gave Georgia a pretty good game, although it was in Jordan Hare. But if Georgia ends up sneaking out of Bryant Denny with a win, man. They might think that they're all that, and then Hugh Freeze might pull it off. I mean, might pull it off.
Well, the last time Auburn beat Georgia at Georgia in Athens was in 2005. And funny enough, Georgia won the SEC that year.
Oh, yeah, that's when they played Pat White in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, they smacked them around big time.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn is not beating Georgia in Georgia.
Mm.
The trap game for I'll tell you, the trap game for Georgia, God, it is probably gonna be week 1 with Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Because Clemson really, their fan base really has a belief that they can pull it off.
Their O-line should be better this year with Matt Luke coming in.
It'll be interesting to see for sure them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Clemson, Appalachian State, that could be a good one right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike, you don't have Appalachian State on your schedule, do you, this year? Because that'd be a trap game for sure.
Well, I mean, they did give a lot of Power 5 teams a lot of trouble over the past several years. I mean, they gave North Carolina plenty of trouble. They always give them a lot of trouble. I know they upset South Carolina in 2019. They forced Penn State to overtime 2018. So every time App State goes against a Power 5 opponent, it's pretty ugly for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just never know.
Well, and our friend Casey Mallory says that Ohio State, Iowa could be a trap game for the Buckeyes, even though it's because they will have a short week after because they travel to Eugene to play the Ducks.
Well, it depends how good that Iowa offense is. I think that's going to be a big part. I mean, if Iowa's offense is half decent and they get good field position a lot against Ohio State, maybe they'll have a chance to pull it off.
Well, last time Iowa beat Ohio State at Columbus was in 1991 in the Hayden Fry era.
Hayden Fry and early John Cooper, yeah.
Oof. But, like a trap game for me in the Big Ten that I'm thinking about is Wisconsin going to Northwestern.
I mean, is Wisconsin even that great? I mean, I'm not going to try bury Wisconsin, but they're not. I mean, are they? They shouldn't. They should be taking every team seriously the way their past few seasons have been, man.
Oh yeah.
Those are my 2 trap games for Oregon, or Purdue and Wisconsin.
Yeah, the jump around is going to be scary for those.
Purdue's going to be pretty garbo this year. I'm sorry, Michael Hogue, if you're here, but
yeah, because it's on the road. It's a short week. It's the week after the Ohio State game. That's why I put that as one of my 2 trap games.
Well, and I know our friend Austin said Oregon Purdue would be a trap game as well. So so as they say, great minds think alike. But question is, for this year, are we going to see Ryan Walters do all right this year? Is he going to be like more of a Daryl Hazel, or is he like another Jeff Brom where magic happens in West Lafayette?
I mean, I don't think Purdue's like an awful team, but I don't know. I just don't see the fit.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't see Purdue as a serious contender or anything, but it could be a trap game. At least the first half. The difference is in years past, let's say Oregon goes in at the half down 10. I still think they could come back in the second half with adjustments and overcome that. Whereas years past, the coaching and the philosophy and the way things were, I don't think that would have happened. I think that would have been a trap game loss at that point.
I mean, Purdue to me just looks like a elementary school from the 1970s. I mean, they just have no dudes. I just don't see the dudes, the game changers on their team.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and our friend Mike Fort has another suggestion for us. SMU in Dallas for Florida State on September 28th. I could see that.
Yeah.
The thing with SMU is the way they looked against Boston College in the bowl game just has me like that. I have that taste in my mouth about SMU. Like, I don't know if they're going to be ready 100% for the ACC. I mean, I know the ACC isn't anything crazy, but it's a step up from the Americans still.
Yeah, but the thing is,
ACC guys last night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I think honestly, everybody's going to bring their A game against a Florida State, but not everybody's going to bring their A game against a Boston College.
Yeah.
So I could see where Mike Fort's going with it, because Florida State could be caught dead thinking about Clemson, but SMU's going to make them think a little bit harder about SMU.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Jay Snow feels that SMU is overhyped, and he bets they'll go sits and sits.
I mean, with SMU, their schedule is very favorable. I'll give them that. So they could have a good year because of the schedule.
Do you guys think that the ACC is a better conference than the Big Ten?
No.
Not top. I mean, no.
Yeah, exactly. I was in last night with Clemson, Miami. There's a couple of their fan bases in there, and they're like,
would we know anyone in that group, Spaz?
Huh?
Would we know anyone in that group?
Maybe shit. Kuzi is a Clemson.
Jordan? Was
guy.
Jordan there?
No, and then the Miami guy is not Traveling Fools, but oh god, I can't think of his name. Drawing a blank. You'd have to be in Spaces to probably know those guys.
Yeah, I'm not in Spaces that often. Jackson, what do you think is the biggest trap game for your Crimson Tide?
It's a good question. Because I know, like last night, Austin and I were talking a little bit about Alabama, Oklahoma being a trap game. And I don't know. I don't see Oklahoma as a trap game, because I think we're both going to bring our A game against one another. But Wisconsin, I know that's talked about as a trap game for the Crimson Tide, but that's
before a bye, though. They do have a bye after that game, which I think helps. They won't be thinking about much else.
That's true. But there's not that many trap games. But I know, like South Florida last year was basically a trap game for us, and our quarterback situation was a cluster at that time. But luckily, we caught it in the nick of time.
What do you say? I mean, I don't know if you would call this a trap.
Wisconsin's a trap, a possible trap game there, Jackson.
Who?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, isn't that week 2?
That's week 3 on Big Noon
3.
Kickoff on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So Wisconsin, I can see them bringing their A game against Alabama.
What do you call? I mean, Missouri's a really good team, but they're kind of a trap because they're right after Tennessee, the third Saturday in October.
True. And, we're thinking a little bit about we could be caught thinking about LSU, but I know that Ralph Wolf says hard to call Oklahoma Mizzou trap games, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's just games that they could lose, not really trap games.
Yeah, trap game would be like a Georgia Tech or, something like that. Kentucky.
Wow. I don't see Kentucky trying to trip up Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are your type of, it's like I said with us, our trap games are like Purdue and Wisconsin. Teams you generally think your teams are probably beat. So for Alabama, I would say it'd be more of a Mizzou or Kentucky. And Missouri could be very interesting this year because they're coming off that big year last year, bowl win.
They've actually recruited pretty well.
A lot of hype. I believe they were top 10 ranked in the coaches poll this year. AP poll comes out tomorrow, so we'll see where the evenness, the bias and stuff lies.
They are bringing back a lot, but I wonder if they think they smell good and they actually smell bad. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. They don't have a really tough schedule.
They don't. They should. Like, if I'm a Mizzou fan, I'm like, okay, we should make the playoffs this year.
Well, our friend Ralph Wolf says that USC at Rutgers can be a trap game this year.
USC at Maryland as well could be interesting.
That's another one because Maryland has an easy slate before they got USC on their schedule.
And that Penn State game is right before the Maryland game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. October 12th is going to be rocking for College Football Nation.
I'm going to try to pull up to that game. I live like 20 minutes away from Maryland, so that'll be fun.
That will be a fun one. USC Rutgers or USC Maryland. I mean, I just wonder which Maryland are we going to get? The same old Maryland that falls apart after they play Ohio State, Michigan? Or are we seeing a different Maryland team? That's what I wonder.
Yeah. Well, they have USC before. Wait, they don't play Ohio State or Michigan. Maryland doesn't, so yeah, that's good for them.
No, they don't. So that's like one thing on their side is they don't have either one of them on there.
Like, if I'm Maryland, I'm thinking I'm going to be undefeated going into USC.
Yeah.
Yeah, the difference with Maryland this year is do they have a quarterback?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Tagovailoa left, so they don't have an experienced QB back there.
They have the NC State guy coming in, right? What's his name? I can't think of his name. I'll bring it up here. MJ Morris.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid that played at North Carolina State.
Yeah, so him or the quarterback Billy Edwards Jr., who looks good in the bowl game, are going to be battling out for the spot.
Well, and our friend has said Ole Miss, South Carolina is going to be another trap game.
I mean, with South Carolina, their lines of scrimmage have to be better than they were last year. They were brutal at the lines of scrimmage. They just got pushed around by the SEC.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be very ugly if Ole Miss is looking ahead to LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But another game that's on Ole Miss schedule that could be a trap game, is Arkansas. I mean, I know Arkansas was sloppy last year. They were falling apart all over the place. But they always give Ole Miss a lot of trouble in Fayetteville.
Hmm.
Could they do it again? But what do you think, gentlemen?
Sam Pittman's throwing up a Hail Mary to Bobby Petrino this year, man. Like he's like, I don't know, like is Sam sending his wife, like is Sam like sacrificing his daughter to Bobby? Like what's going on here? So we'll see if how good Arkansas is this year, man. That'll be interesting.
Ralph Wolf says Florida will be someone's trap game. Don't know who yet. Well, we have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least with me, I believe Florida LSU can be a trap game because it's the week after LSU plays Alabama. So I mean, what if we see LSU upset Alabama and then they let it go to their head a little bit? Because we got to remember, they almost lost to Arkansas in 2022. So had it not been for KJ Jefferson being hurt, Arkansas would have won that game. But Spaz, what do you think about that matchup exactly?
One.
About LSU, Florida.
Oh, LSU, Florida. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't think LSU's beaten Florida since Florida's beaten LSU for a while. How long's that streak been gone back, Jackson?
That's been the last time Florida beat LSU was in 2018.
2018. Okay.
Week 6 on CBS.
Not bad. But I just don't see Florida winning more than 3-4 games.
Well, the thing about Billy Napier in the era in Gainesville is that he can win at home, but they never get it done on the road.
I mean, he's had like one good. What were his good wins at home though? I mean, besides the Tennessee game, that's the thing about Billy.
And they won against Utah in week 1.
Oh yeah, Utah week 1. So they might have one decent win.
Yeah, that was a fluke.
They might have one decent one because Tennessee.
That was also because they had no Cam Rising had just went out in spring ball or fall camp, so they had no quarterback at Utah yet.
Yeah,
I would say maybe they finally beat Kentucky. That might be their one good home win. I'll give them that.
And if he starts the season like 3-5, he's done.
It's over. It is over if they go 3-5.
Yeah. If he doesn't at least go 4-4 by some miracle to start the season, he could be gone by week 5 or 6. If they start like 2-4, he's done. They're gonna cook Billy's goose.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And we got a hello from Talk is Pit.
What's up, Talk is Pit?
What's up, good buddy? Thank you for tuning in to tonight's edition of College Football After Dark, right here at the Voice of College Football. But there's another Big Ten game that just topped into my head. Penn State at Wisconsin, excuse me.
Oh man, I remember Wisconsin choked that game away in 2021. Oh man, they had him.
What do you guys think of what Anthony says down here?
Lane Kiffin to Florida after this year? I don't know.
He's kind of wants to leave Ole Miss, it seems like. So that could happen.
I think it's Lane Kiffin's job to turn down.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida's going to throw the bank. They're going to throw the bag at him. You know, that's who their first. That's their first top pick right there. Is they're going to go after somebody like Lane Kiffin.
Well, we will definitely find out at some point in the midseason whether Jedfish leaves Washington or stays at Washington, or if we see Lane Kiffin staying in Oxford, Mississippi to try to end that conference title drought. Pittsburgh, West Virginia, that kind of feels like a trap game. Like, depending on how West Virginia does against Penn
That's
State.
just a rivalry game, really. I mean,
It's not
trap.
really a trap. I mean, you can't really call a rivalry game a trap game.
But we could see Pittsburgh Clemson being a trap for Clemson because we don't know what Clemson's record's going to be. And
I
it all
think Clemson
depends.
8-4, maybe 9-3.
Well, in top 25 teams, it's usually a bad day for them anytime they go to Pitt. Case in point, we see Central Florida's winning streak end in 2019. We saw Clemson losing in 2021.
Yep.
And last season, we saw Louisville's dreams going to die on the CW at Pitt.
Yes, we did.
Tends to happen with those that go to Pitt. But what do you gentlemen think? Like, which is more of like a trap game for Clemson? Clemson at Virginia Tech or Clemson at Pittsburgh?
Virginia
Chat,
Tech,
feel free to comment.
Virginia Tech has a lot coming back. So I think probably Virginia Tech. Sorry, Tigers Pitt.
And we got a hello from our buddy John D'Animo from Michigan Football, the Voice of College Football. How are we doing tonight? Doing pretty good. How you doing tonight, John? Thank you for tuning in.
Pitt could be overlooked though.
How's that Just Cause doing there, Johnny?
Wow.
Oh, wait, that's another segment later in the program.
I feel like if Miami's going to have a good year, they have to beat Virginia Tech at home. And that's just the type of game, like the Georgia Tech game from last year, they could just blow at home.
Yeah. Let's take a knee. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Instead.
Well, one game just kind of crossed my mind, because South Florida, we talked a little while ago about how they gave Alabama plenty of trouble last year. Could we see South Florida, Miami be that trap game for Miami?
South Florida? I mean, they looked good they had a good season for South Florida standards, so they could. I just think a team, if they have to beat Miami, if they need to get a heat on, you have to get pressure on Cam Ward if you want to beat Miami. So if South Florida is able to get, I don't know if they have good players on D line, but if they do, they'll have a prayer to beat Miami.
Well, what's your trap game for the Irish this year?
We don't play many road games this year, so I guess if there's any trap game, I would say maybe at Georgia Tech could be tricky. But that game's at the Falcon Stadium and not Bobby Dodd, so I feel like there could be more Irish fans than Georgia Tech fans at that game. So, but also like Stanford and Louisville could be tricky if we play bad. Those games could be tricky too at home.
Just what do you think about like Notre Dame Army? Could that be a trap game?
I'm worried about players getting in, like the Army game. I mean, they're going to be, they might wear us down on the line just because the way that they block. It's just annoying playing a Service Academy.
I mean, Navy did beat you guys a couple of years ago in South Bend.
And they've beaten us a few times. They beat us in 2016. They beat us in 2016.
Yeah. Ken, Ken Namatalolo always gave Notre Dame a lot of trouble. Matter of fact, he was on that coaching staff of 2007 where Navy ended the long losing streak against Notre Dame.
That was an awful Notre Dame team, man. That was when I first started watching Notre Dame, so I'm a true fan for watching Notre Dame in the 3-9 year.
And our friend Sean Garner is putting in a $5 super chat. Says, sorry for my absence tonight. In Ohio visiting family this weekend. Hope you're all doing well. Well, we hope you are doing very well, and we appreciate the super chat right here at the Voice of College Football. And another one. Meant the not those. What does that say, Will?
Troglodytes? I think that's from like Star Trek or something. I'm not sure.
Well, I got to learn a little more about Star Trek. I mean, I only know like Leonard Nimoy and.
But that was just a guess. It might not be Star Trek.
Meant that last chat for the lays in the audience. Well, we appreciate you tuning in, and you enjoy your time with your family, Sean. You have an awesome trip. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. But in the meantime, if you love top-notch merchandise, come on into topqualityshirts.com/collection/Mark Rogers, where you can get some of the best top-notch insider, top-notch merchandise. There's slides for the days that are for the final days of summer. The coffee mug. Oh, there's a can cooler. Polo shirt, t-shirt. Be a fan, don't be a dumb one. And the notebook that keeps all your secrets safe, where if you need to vent or write in whatever you don't want told, that Voice College Football notebook will keep all your secrets safe. And there's a wine glass.
Connor Stallions should have got last year.
That could help for sure. And there's shorts, flag, phone cases, blue jean jacket as we get ready for the fall and the winter coming up. Zip up hoodies, pullovers, the bomber jackets, long sleeve shirts, socks, jigsaw puzzle, gym bag, backpack, there we go, and a beer glass. Show all your friends. And there's a dog bowl. All right, we got the
water bottle next to the beer glass.
Yep, steel water bottle.
All right.
That puppy dog's looking pretty happy. I mean, I'd be pretty happy too. You got yourself a Voice of College Football dog bowl. He's giving that happy face. That little sad face. Could you buy a Voice College Football merch? Because I can tell you right now, you'll get some of the best merchandise there is.
Woof, woof.
There we go.
What do you guys think about Bama going to sorry, I lost it. What do y'all think of Georgia going to Lexington before the Bama game?
I don't really feel like Georgia's going to lose that one or
Do you
get
think
tripped up by them.
You don't think it'll trip them up at all?
I don't think they will, because I just can't see it. Bart Stoops and Kentucky always bring their A game against a lot of teams, but they just can never seem to get it done against the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, Porter, I said that one earlier, Auburn being Georgia's trap game.
Is that a joke, John? Or is that legit? Mark's got a new Twitter.
Yeah, Mark has a new Twitter.
He's had that for
just
a while.
So he can spout out like his political opinions and all that.
So Come on in and follow Mark at MarkPsalm23 on X. Also,
what?
And let's get the Voice of College Football X account to 6,000 followers, because let's be real, it's 42 followers away from the magic number 65. What we do? Let's get it to 65. But also, here's the top 25 that actually makes sense, the preseason edition. So we got 42 followers away from 6,000. Let's get at it. So what do you think, Sean? How are you feeling about, like, say, LSU Arkansas being another trap game?
I mean, what do we know about Arkansas and their offense this year? I haven't heard much, so I'm not sure where they're going to sit after. Didn't the kid that was there last year, didn't he leave?
Yeah, KJ Jefferson left for Central Florida.
Do you guys think that Central Florida will be Florida again? Because KJ Jefferson did it with Arkansas. That was like Arkansas's only.
I mean, that is very possible. Because KJ Jefferson can run all over people if he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be interesting to see how good Bobby Petrino, if he still has it as an offensive mind, because he needs to make Arkansas make a bowl for Sam Pittman to keep his job, I believe.
Well, speaking of Central Florida, what do you guys think about Arizona Central Florida being a trap game? Because it looks like a trap game to me. But what do you guys think? And chat, feel free to comment on what you think.
We don't know what Arizona's got. Well, we do. I mean,
Noah Fafita
system, but we have you still got Fafita and McMillan and a lot of that defense back.
Arizona should compete. Like, if they have a competent coaching staff, they should at least be at the top, near the top of the Big 12.
They should be in the top tier of the Big 12 at least. Speaking of Big 12, have you guys heard the rumblings going around the last couple of weeks about another Big 12 expansion?
Which one is it this time?
Oregon State and Washington State.
I've heard. I don't know. I've heard so much Big 12 rumors. Like, I just shut my head off to that.
A lot of prominent Oregon State alum and people that I know are convinced and confident that they believe that the Big 12 is already called and like it's pretty much a done deal after this season.
I mean, I would be happy for the Beavs and the Cougs.
It makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
I would like
it was better there than the ACC.
I would like to see it happen, but I just don't see it happening for Oregon State, Washington State, because unfortunately, I don't think either one of the schools bring in enough money. And the football history, Washington State's history, if you look back prior to Mike Price,
they had a few good years with Erickson.
Yeah. But it was like before Erickson and Price and Mike Leach, it wasn't that good, unfortunately. Because I know, looking back at, like, say, 1931 to 1980, they were missing bowl games for 49 straight years.
I mean, I'll be fair to the Cougs. The Pac-10 only had their winner go to the Rose Bowl. They didn't allow their teams to go to lower tier bowls. So I'll give them that.
But deep down, I hope they get in the Big 12 or like a power conference. But
They
I'm just
expanded
not seeing
last
it.
year, Mike, so they're a little bit bigger, but
Mhm.
not much. I think I think Research Stadium went from like 35,000 to like 44,000 capacity. I mean, Oregon's pushing, I believe we're at like 57, 58 now for Ohio State. We'll see how the Ohio State game on October 12th is probably going to set a Autzen Stadium attendance record. So we'll see if they pack 60,000 in with standing room only. I think they're going to try.
Well, in Oregon State, I know they've been doing all right in football, but
They've got a top baseball program,
Mhm.
one of the
They
top
do.
in the nation. They've won 2 national titles in the last decade in baseball. Always competitive in baseball. Their issues have been in the major sports in baseball or in basketball and football. They just haven't been very competitive. They've been a little better in football, a few years with Mike Riley and then the stints with Jonathan Smith, but it's like every time they got somewhere, their coach was bouncing. So, I mean, case in point, you can't blame Jonathan Smith for bouncing to Michigan State because everybody knew that the Pac 12 was over, and if he would have stayed, he'd have been buried in purgatory.
Mhm.
well, I mean, Oregon State, I really hope like them and Washington State, they could somehow get into like the Big 12, as you guys say, but I'm just not seeing it. If they can't market their football program, they're screwed.
Well,
I
we'll
think,
see. Yeah.
yeah, and the Jonathan Smith situation where he left for Michigan State, that's not good at all.
I'll do a little Google search. See if there's anything.
Yeah, they've been talking about it a lot. They had a quote unquote breaking news on their Beaver Space last week. They had like 400 people in there talking about it.
Yeah. But I will say it's gonna be exciting to see Washington State and Oregon State on week 3.
Mhm.
Our our friend Ralph Wolf's talking a little bit about Oregon hitting 60,000 before. Last time was 2011 versus Arizona State. Didn't think they could get that many.
Sorry.
I didn't realize we had hit 60 before. Huh. The USC game a couple years ago didn't hit that in 2009.
The Apple Cup will be on Fox. No, let me see. No, the Civil War is going to be on Fox. The Apple Cup, I believe, will be on the Peacock app. Indiana UCLA will be on NBC. But we don't particularly know about the future of Oregon State besides 2025. We don't know.
Oh no, they signed a deal through 2031.
2031. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're locked in for like 8 years.
Thank you. My mistake. Washington State is on Peacock. Oh, I said that earlier. But Arizona State, I know somebody was mentioning Arizona State. Now, somebody was mentioning the Arizona duo, Noah Fafita and I think it was McMullen.
Jalen McMillan, right?
Yeah, McMillan, yeah.
Yeah. They're going to be a pretty interesting duo to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
Can Arizona State put a scare into somebody?
I think they're going to be a bottom feeder, man. I'm sorry to Sparky and the ASU Sun Devils, but I think they're in a big rebuild still.
I think Kenny Dillingham gets them to 5 or 6 wins this year.
That would be a good story.
Well, last year, even though it was on the road, they somehow put a scare into Washington. That
was a big fat trap game.
Makes me wonder if they can do the same thing to Kansas or Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with Jim Harbaugh having the just cause, can he show up at that game?
He's gonna. Well, they say he's gonna show up, so we'll see.
Well, he can show up at games, but the show cause is for why a college believes, oh, well, we want to hire Harbaugh as our next head coach. We're going to show you just cause as to why we believe he could go back to coaching. But here's the thing. He's not going back to college coaching. That's just not happening.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Now, here's a little trap. I know this is a season opener, but I do believe this is a trap game. North Dakota State, Colorado.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What one?
North Dakota State going to Colorado.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being a big meltdown for Dion.
If they lose that game, Dion's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
On 60 Minutes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how North Dakota State's going to be without their coach, Matt Ince, because they got a new coach now.
Mm-hmm.
Does the
Colorado, Mike, just because they do have some talent on that Colorado team, but I don't think they're North Dakota State might have the better line of scrimmage.
That'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Jay Snow says, I hope North Dakota State beats Colorado. The Dion haters will be insufferable if they lose that game.
Yeah, they'll melt down. That'll be a bigger meltdown than the Stanford game.
Yeah, they will. Twitter Spaces will be unbearable for a week if Colorado loses that game.
I mean, North Dakota State, they aren't the team that they were, but they're still one of the better FCS teams.
Yeah, they always tend to give everybody trouble in the FCS. I'm surprised they're not in a FBS conference now.
I kind of think they like being where they are.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't get a whole lot of pressure in the FCS. Everybody thinks you're the hero for getting like 7 national titles in 11 years. So let me see who's their new Tim Polasek. He's gonna be the new head coach for North Dakota State. Wow. Mm-hmm. But Iowa, I know they're going to be going to Michigan State on October 19th. And Iowa, Minnesota kind of feels more like a revenge game. That's not a trap game. It's more like a revenge game. But Iowa, Maryland feels more like, to me, it's a trap game. But what do you think is the most likely trap game on Iowa's schedule?
Maybe
Maybe
the trip to Minnesota. I know they've owned Minnesota, so maybe it'll be interesting. I mean, they lost the last game, so maybe they'll get their revenge. But maybe that one will be interesting. Troy could be interesting because Troy's one of the better Group of 5 programs. Of course, I know. I believe Mike Fort goes to grad school there or just graduate grad school. So interesting to see what Mike's take is.
Well, now they don't have their man that left for Tulane, Shire.
Yeah, they have GP.
Yeah, Gerard Parker.
Yeah,
Notre Dame was happy to see him go.
Yeah, I mean, if bringing in Mike Denbrock, you'll be happy to see whoever go when you get Denbrock coming in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen for Troy with Gerard Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Iowa could literally lose to any team in college football 12-10. Yeah.
I would say Northwestern is probably the biggest drop, though.
Yeah. Because they're going to be thinking about Wisconsin the week after that. And the Rose Bowl at UCLA, I know that's not exactly a great home field
competitive this year, though.
Oh, UCLA's pissed.
And there's going to be more Hawkeye fans than Bruin fans.
That's bad right there. UCLA's got to fix that situation.
Because Iowa hasn't won in the Rose Bowl since Forrest Evashevsky was the coach, I believe.
Yeah,
you can check me on that, Jackson. But that's when Iowa was competing for national championships in the 50s.
True. They were a force to be reckoned with back in those days.
Yeah, that's when they had what's his name? Niall Kinnick. Yeah.
Yep.
Who they named the stadium after.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Maryland's a trap because they're going to be thinking about Nebraska possibly.
That's a good question. How does Iowa always get these? I mean, they were in the West. Yeah, Mike said that they were in the West. Yeah.
Well, and this year is going to be the first year without divisions for the Big Ten.
They still got an easy schedule, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still have to go to Ohio State on week 6.
But they always have to go play one of the better teams. They got Ohio State at a good time, too.
Yo, Braska Rascal, how you doing tonight? Thank you for tuning in to tonight's edition of CFB After Dark.
Yeah, Dave's here, but Hayden never won a Rose Bowl. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't think they've won a Rose Bowl since the 50s.
Nope.
Yeah, 59.
1959.
Yeah, I was right. It was in the 50s.
USC, Minnesota, maybe that could be a trap game for USC.
Yeah, if USC doesn't go 8-4 or better, Lincoln Riley's probably on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they if they don't get blown out and they go 7-5, I don't know if he's quite on the hot seat.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But PJ Fleck, we've seen it from him time and time again, where they always win that one game they shouldn't. They lose that one game they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Minnesota, they were bad last year, and they still should not have won the Nebraska or Iowa games. So I'm kind of getting scared if I'm Minnesota. Like, is it falling apart for Sky Yuma?
We don't know. But I don't think I'd want to be firing.
USC shot the duck.
Where is he?
Oh,
what's he laying down? He's not liking the heat, is he?
Puddles.
Outside of USC Stadium an hour ago.
Oh, Lord.
Puddles.
But in the meantime, you can shop on Amazon using the link support the voice of college football. You don't need to buy the product display. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you can get the same shopping experience.
I feel, Spaz, I feel like you should play them every year. That's kind of sad that you aren't playing them this year.
At USC, I know.
Yeah.
It feels weird not seeing Oregon USC on the schedule.
Yeah, it's sad.
But we've played them every other year the last 10 years.
It's fair. Yeah. Since the divisions.
Pac-12.
Mm-hmm. That's fair, Ralph. I forgot. I remember him now that you say I've mentioned it.
Darius Taylor. I'm curious to see how he's going to be in 2024. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in week 1 against North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. That's a big game for both teams because Carolina is coming in with like low expectations this year.
Well, John, Bo Nix had the ball 4 times and had 4 scoring possessions and didn't have any turnovers and threw the ball 70+%, just like he was in college. And even had a deep ball. Just saying.
Well, and I know Ohio State and Michigan are going to be at home the week before rivalry week. But, however, they always seem to have a lot of trouble the week before the game. Do we see history repeating itself again? Because I know, because the Buckeyes are going to have Indiana coming to their backyard in Columbus. Northwestern's coming to Ann Arbor. Could we see a little bit of trouble for either one of these schools?
I think Northwestern could be interesting.
Yeah.
It depends how good Indiana is. Like, my buddy Jeffrey is thinking Indiana is at least going to make a bowl game this year. So we'll see. We'll see how good they actually are.
It's my new favorite coach.
Well, I remember in 2022, Michigan-Illinois was a troublesome game for Michigan. Because, I mean, I know that it was at home for Michigan, but it was the week before rivalry week. So that's what I keep thinking about. And it's just crossing my mind that we're going to see some trap
They were
games.
both blowouts last season, so we'll see.
That's true.
Wouldn't that just be the shit if fucking Jonathan Smith goes into Ann Arbor and whoops ass? I would die laughing.
That would be. I would join you in that, Spaz. I would join you in that. But I think they're going to be bad. They're going to have a great quarterback in Jordan Childs. I just hope he doesn't get hurt for his career's sake.
Aiden Childs, that's about all they got.
Yeah, Aiden. I keep saying Jordan because of the gymnast.
Yep.
Wow.
He's from my hometown.
Well, I know that Nebraska, they're nowhere near where they were the good old days, but Matt Rule seems to be like he's going to be doing a great job in Lincoln, Nebraska.
They weren't any better last season than they were the year before, though. That's the one. But I know he usually has a good improvement year, too. So we'll see if that continues.
You always bring Lane Kiffin back, Trojan.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin coming back would be probably a better hire than Riley. I don't know. I don't want Tim to get on me, but
he was in here earlier.
Well, here's my question for everybody in the panel and the chat. Is Nebraska, Indiana a trap game for the Nebraska Cornhuskers? Because reason why, because after that, they got to play Ohio State. We don't know if we're going to see Nebraska with 1 loss, 2 losses, or
that's homecoming for Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Nebraska goes 7-5, maybe 8-4 this year. I think Matt Rule has them on the up.
Mike Fort's wanting to know what that Grinch free defense is. Well, I mean, USC did get D'Anton Lynn from UCLA, and he did a tremendous job with that UCLA defense, in spite of what UCLA was doing last year. I mean, second in rushing yards allowed per game,
Their
10th in
defense
total
was
yards allowed per
much
game.
better.
So I could
We'll
see
see.
the USC defense improving by quite a lot. I mean, I'm not expecting them to go to the top 10.
Maybe top 25. Let's give them that. Top 25 should be the
Yeah,
goal.
top 25, top 40. That's fair.
I mean, they were 21 or 23 in the coaches poll. We'll see if they get ranked tomorrow in the AP.
I wouldn't call him a dumpster fire. Let's at least give Kirk Cignetti a chance before we call him that.
Yeah, I love Kirk Cignetti.
Yeah, he has a chip on his shoulder. That's
And
fair. Yeah.
And Nebraska Rascal says Purdue is a trap game because we always struggle in Lafayette.
Mm.
And Hummus Hero says Nebraska doesn't qualify for having trap games until they have a winning season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they haven't had a winning season since 2016. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
No, it's not good.
But the only way to go is up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder if there's any more trap games that we left out. Like, were there any more games we left out? Because I keep thinking that we could see maybe Kansas State Tulane could be a trap game because Kansas State has a big game against Arizona in week 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, the weird thing about Kansas State Arizona is that it's going to be one of the 2 Big 12 games that's going to be a non-conference game. It won't count in the conference standings.
Dylan Raiola's going to start right away for Nebraska. He has to, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Casey Mallory says Penn State could be a trap game for Ohio State because it's at Penn State, so it'll probably be the whiteout game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they might struggle against Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting.
Ralph Wolf says, seeing that Indiana is 4-1-26 last 130 games versus Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, 2 wins came during COVID. They're no one's traps. Well, we could see Kirsten Nettie doing a tremendous job over in Bloomington, Indiana. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be seeing Big Ten titles. I mean, that's not happening. We're not seeing that happen. But we can see them have a say in who wins and who doesn't win. And we got a question from our friend Anthony Eason. Is Louisville a trap game for Miami?
Maybe.
I
mean, Miami shouldn't take anyone lightly because they're Miami and they haven't won Jack Diddley in a while.
No. I'm thinking more like, because I know like some people here in the chat were saying Duke, but that's a home game for Miami.
Well, somebody just asked, what about Purdue Notre Dame at Ross Aiden? There will.
I mean, we've won our last 8 against Purdue, so we should hopefully win big.
I'm curious about that one.
Yeah.
Because that's an old time rivalry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for a team that's competing for a title, we should hopefully just dust off Purdue.
Yeah. Ralph Wolf says Duke will be back to being bad quickly.
I mean, it's a lot easier of a job for Handy Manny. Like, if you messed up Duke, if you make Duke like not a bowl eligible team with what he's got, you're doing a bad job. I mean, Malik Murphy should get them to at least 7 wins.
I've got a feeling Manny Diaz kind of brings out Will Muschamp vibes, where people are just kind of hyping up his second chance as head coach, and oh, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be awesome, but then doesn't do well. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong about Manny Diaz. I wish him nothing but awesomeness. I want to see him do what Wallace Wade could do at Duke. I want to see him do what David Cutcliffe accomplished and what Mike Elko accomplished at Duke. But I'm not sure what Manny Diaz can bring at Duke. I'm kind of feeling like he's the ACC equivalent of Will Muschamp.
Ouch. All right, we'll see. We'll see if how they'll do.
And we got our buddy Michael Hogue asking what games do I see that could be track games in the SEC? Well, a little while ago, we talked about LSU Arkansas being a track game.
Auburn,
Arkansas,
Georgia.
Auburn, Oklahoma. There's one we haven't talked about. Because I know Oklahoma's got a bye week after Auburn, but I remember talking with Parker Thune on one of my latest Jacksonian episodes where we talked a lot about Jordan Hare being a scary place for top 25 teams. And you mentioned that it was pretty scary for Georgia last year on September 30th. And it about put a scare into the Alabama Crimson Tide, because I remember I sat here right here in this office saying the week before rivalry week last year that Auburn's going to give Alabama trouble. Do not be surprised. And they did. But Spaz, what do you think about Auburn, Oklahoma? Does that scream trap game to you?
I mean, for who?
For Oklahoma.
I mean, probably because, I mean,
I just don't
Oklahoma's their
see
first year in the
Oklahoma being able to compete in the SEC right away. So I think they'll lose that game.
They've got a freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback, which is the reason Dylan Gabriel left, because they were already planning on putting all their chips in on Jackson Arnold. That's why Dylan Gabriel decided to come to Eugene. So Oklahoma's going to have a tough first year.
Yeah.
Because they're putting all their eggs in that Jackson Arnold kid.
I could see Oklahoma doing all right in the SEC for the future. I believe they could.
Yeah. I think it'll take them a couple years.
But I do wonder if they'll do just enough to finish in the top 4.
Top 4 in the SEC?
Yeah.
Oklahoma?
Yeah, because I don't think they can.
Georgia, Bama, LSU, Texas, and
yeah,
top 5 maybe.
Yeah,
We'll
I mean
see.
we could do that, but I don't know. I mean we mentioned LSU Florida being a trap game. I mean I know that Florida doesn't seem like they're going to be a trap for anybody, but when you're in Gainesville, absolutely. But if Florida's on the road, they don't do so hot, at least under Coach Napier.
Nobody in the SEC does very well on the road outside of the SEC.
No.
They don't like to leave the South. You also got to come out this direction.
I think you're gonna see some teams leaving the South for a home and home series. It tends to happen.
Well, with the 12-team playoff now, it kind of opens that up a little bit. I think it gives you that opportunity because now you can, if you're in a Power 5 conference, you can probably lose 2 games, maybe even 3, depending on what games you've lost during the year, still make the 12.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, Notre Dame loses 2 games, they ain't getting in the 12.
Yeah, we probably won't be.
Because they're not in a Power 5 conference, which hurts them. They literally have to go like 11-1, maybe 10-2 in order to make the 12. But this year they should. They should.
We gotta handle the Irish gotta handle their business this year. I mean, with the talent, we cannot waste this. This is the most talented Notre Dame team in a while, so we gotta play up to our skill level.
Who's your offensive coordinator now? I know you got rid of the last one.
Mike Debrock, who's at LSU.
Oh, he did a fantastic job at LSU. So I can
open the bank account for that one. Got the donor money.
Oh, is that the guy that fixed Jaden Daniels down there in LSU?
Mm-hmm.
You probably who you got for quarterbacks this year?
Quarterback? Riley Leonard.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. He went from Duke to Notre Dame. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And we fixed our wide receiver problem in the portal, so yeah. We should be solid.
Well, you guys couldn't catch a brick last year.
Yeah.
Agreed. He is a stud. Don't forget to tune in Monday nights on USC at the Voice of College Football, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and 7 p.m. Pacific Time for Trojans Conquest for Matt Zemek and Tim Prangley from Trojans Wire as they discuss the latest news and notes on the USC Trojans with Mark Rogers on USC Football.
Tune in on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday nights for USC therapy meltdown sessions on a weekly basis anytime they have a catastrophic loss with Tim Prangley and crew.
Oh, brother.
Well, and of course you can also tune in Tuesday night for Live 56 as Spaz and Ben and friends are going to be discussing quite a lot about the Ohio State Oregon game preview plus much more.
And the new recruits that Uncle Phil Knight bought.
Everybody in that unlimited nil, it just cracks me up. As Coach Lanning says, it's got to be great to be somebody like Kirby Smart and go out and get a top recruiting class every year without a nil. Just amazing how he does it year after year with no money. Just saying. And if you look at the nil collective list, Texas, USC, Oklahoma, Ohio State, they're all way up here. And Oregon's like way down here in the middle on collectives. Just saying, guys, go look it up. It's a true fact.
Wolverine Gage, bro, you don't know. You just don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Riley has better receivers, and the O-line should be better this year too.
Sam Hartman was trash.
Sam had it rough. I mean, it wasn't always his fault, but he had some bad moments.
Well, were there any other trap games that we missed out on, like from the Big 12?
Tim, it's a fact. Go look it up. There's a nil collective thing. It's been put up several times on several sites on Twitter, and and it shows. Maybe not you guys. I don't remember exactly all the top teams, but I know like Texas and Ohio State. I think even Alabama was up there in the top 10 of amount of nil collectives available. And Oregon's was like down in the 15-20 range.
Well, Michael, we're pretty much having the same D line come back that was great last year. The secondary, we're gonna have Christian Gray in for Cam Hart. Everyone, besides that, it should be pretty much the same. And our linebackers are young and very talented, so defense should be just as good. Mike, I agree. The O-line was a disappointment last year. That's really the biggest question mark of the season. But the O-line got better as the season went on. But to be fair, we didn't play many good teams at the end of the year, so we'll see. The O-line's the biggest question mark. But besides that, we're good in every other position. So O-line just has to do enough. Just give Riley just enough time to fire off some darts and get the run game rolling.
I will go look for it, Tim, if I can find it tomorrow, and I will bring it in and share it on your show tomorrow night with you guys so you can see. It is a legitimate thing that came out from, I believe, from the NCAA.
Yeah, talk is fit. My beard's pretty new, man. I'm at least probably gonna trim it next time I come on. But yeah, I'm growing out my beard.
Jackson, you guys have a high collective up there?
High collective?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in Tuscaloosa, we seem to get a lot of guys getting over here and there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw that you guys had a pretty high collective as well.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you get a lot of these programs that like, oh, what? We don't have a high collective. What do you mean we got all this money?
Oh, I mean, every Blue Blood's got a lot of that money.
Yeah, and half of them, oh, no, we don't. Oh. We don't have unlimited like all these other schools.
It's kind of like the college football equivalent of I'm not like the other girls, but spoiler, she is like the other girls.
Right?
Yeah. But, yeah. I'm curious to see what's going to happen for 2024. Because we know that tomorrow will be the AP preseason poll release.
Mm-hmm.
But that really doesn't matter if you're ranked highly in the preseason or if you're unranked. Because, to me, if you're ranked highly in the preseason or if you're unranked to start off the year, I don't think it matters. It's all about how you finish.
Mm-hmm.
So are you the new Leprechaun this year then, Will?
I would love to be, man. I'd love to be. Yes, losing Charles Jagasaw at left tackle is a big loss, but it shouldn't end our season. Like, our O-line should still be able to be all right. I mean, we've recruited well there. Just the coaching's been a little suspect. But it did hurt losing a 5-star left tackle. Yes.
That's always going to hurt. You can't be losing 5-star tackles.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you do not need to lose key guys. Wonder if Mississippi State's going to be a trap game for anybody. I mean, they're horrible, but they always seem to get somebody that they shouldn't. But, well, we got 12 more days until the start of the 2024 regular season. Well, in the Eastern time zone, it's 16 minutes till midnight. and we got ourselves a fun season ahead of us. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But are there any more trap games that we missed out on, gentlemen?
I think we covered the bases.
Covers most of them for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. There's one game that I missed out on. I'm sure there's a few. I think that pretty much covers it from my end. But chat, is there any more trap games that you got for us? Let us know in the comment section. Well, in the meantime, we can talk about our teams for just a little bit, and we can tell everybody where they can find us before we close out the night. Spaz, what are you looking forward to from Oregon this season after or during fall camp? What have you thought about them so far?
What have I saw?
Yeah, what have you liked about Oregon so far in the off season and in fall camp?
I just like the fact that our offensive line is probably the biggest it's been ever. We have two anchors on our offensive line this year that one of them is already on the list that Jackson Powers was on last year, the Remington list. And our defense is probably one of the better defenses that we've had since the Chip Kelly era, and I just believe that that this year it's for me it's national semifinals or bust, really.
Same thing in South Bend.
I'd love to repeat the 2001 Fiesta Bowl with Oregon and Notre Dame.
That would be fun, man. That would be fun. Oh man, the Duck fans are cracking, man. They like to quack. So, in Notre Dame, as you know, there's some Notre Dame fans that talk to. So that'll be fun.
Oh man. Well, we got our
Oregon
question.
Rose Bowl would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Well, we got one question from Michael asking if we covered the group of 5 teams that are playing Power 4 teams this year.
We talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, Tulane, Kansas State, Clemson, Appalachian State, Miami, South Florida.
Troy, Iowa, was it?
Yeah, Troy, Iowa.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that. Yeah, I don't think we can count week 1 game. Well, no, we can count week 1 games as trap games because it can happen. So, but there's a lot of upsets coming our way. Maybe not as quiet as 2007, but still though, Memphis, Florida State. What do you think about that, gentlemen?
That could be interesting. I mean, Memphis is bringing a lot back. They might win the American this year.
The American kind of feels like a toss-up between Tulane and South Florida and Memphis.
Fresno going to the Big House could be interesting if Alex Orji isn't good.
Yeah. I don't see Texas San Antonio giving anybody any trouble.
Yeah, they don't have their quarterback that they had forever. Who was that guy's name? He was like an 8th year. I don't know.
Hayner?
No, not him. He was at Fresno.
Mm.
Oh gosh, I'll search it up.
I got to answer this one in here. Hey, Porter, I also saw the 4 picks he threw in the game, too. Stetson Bennett, get the fuck out of here.
Stetson won, but yeah, I just don't think he has the tools to be an NFL quarterback. Frank Harris. There we go. Frank Harris.
There we
The guy
go.
was there forever. 2017 to 2013, he was there. Jeez Louise, that guy played a long time.
I mean, maybe Rice Houston if it's on NFL Network again.
Oh gosh,
Can't lose to food. And I would basically say any game that's on the CW for each of the ACC teams, really.
Virginia Tech, Old Dominion.
Yeah, Old Dominion seems
I want to go
get
to that game because I have friends that live down in Norfolk.
Oh
But
yeah.
the tickets are kind of expensive, so I'll try to go in the bargain bin. Look for
What?
it.
What about North Carolina State, Northern Illinois? I mean, I know that's a home game for NC State, but it is the week after they play Clemson. And I mean, what if they pulled off that magical upset over Clemson, beat them for the 3rd time in 4 years, and beat them at Clemson for the first time since 2002? What? Wonder if that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think we can really count San Diego State beating Cal as an upset, but I don't know. But Old Dominion does give a lot of Power 5 teams a lot of trouble.
I know they're going to be bad. They're ranked to be pretty bad this year, but I still threw it out there because it's in Norfolk.
Boston College, Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Boston College coming off a tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Boston College, Virginia was a tight one last year, but at the same time, if it's on CW again.
Mm-hmm. Who's James? Does James Madison play anyone?
They play North Carolina.
That could be an upset for sure. Sorry, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Mark M asked if we see Oregon State, Washington State gain a Power 4 invite.
Maybe ACC.
Yeah.
If Florida State and Clemson actually leave, then maybe they could replace them for a last-ditch effort to save the ACC. That's the best scenario, I think, for them.
Arizona State at Texas State. That could be another one.
Texas State. I remember they beat Baylor.
Yep. So we could see Texas State giving Arizona State a lot of trouble on Thursday night for week 3.
I mean, I'm sure JMU got decent guys with their NI. JMU has a lot of alumni, so they probably got people through the portal.
Oh, here's a good one. This is just a group of 5 game. Liberty at Appalachian State.
Mm-hmm. Liberty has a lot of Baptist church money.
Oh yeah.
So I just wish they played a Power 5 school.
Yeah, Liberty was a joke.
Yeah, Liberty, they're gonna do well in the Conference USA because of all that NIL money they have, but they aren't going to be able to compete with the top P5 schools.
I would say good enough to make a bowl game, but they're nowhere near where they were with Jamie Chadwell, and they lose their guy Grace McCall to North Carolina State, so that's gonna hurt them badly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Liberty.
I wonder why he's not a power.
Yeah.
Liberty gave Jamie Chadwell a lot of money. That's why.
Well, there's gonna be somebody paying more. That's the thing.
It's also a very low pressure job.
True. Mike Fort believes Coastal's time is done. But Georgia Southern, I wonder if they can give some teams a lot of trouble this year. I mean, they got boys.
They're going to Ole Miss as their P5 game, so they might get beat bad.
Oh wait! Oh, that just got me thinking. Ole Miss at Wake Forest on the CW.
Oh jeez,
The CW curse hitting Ole Miss. That would be hilarious.
that would be insane.
It would be. Serves them right for not playing USC in a home and home.
Yeah, that's pretty lame.
It's like I wanted to see the Lane Kiffin return matchup.
The Lane train.
Yeah, but oh well, we can see it in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Marshall's gonna give anybody trouble in the Power 5. Central Florida, who do they have?
Florida. Wait, actually, no. They might win both of those games. Honestly, I think they'll beat Colorado for sure. I think Florida is kind of a toss-up.
If Central Florida is the favorite against Colorado, they're gonna fall apart.
You think?
But if everybody's talking about how great
beat Colorado, I think they have a good chance to beat Florida.
Thing is about Malzahn teams is they are always real weird as favorites and underdogs. I mean, we saw it throughout Auburn. We're seeing it with Central Florida. Last year they blew it against Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
It was just terrible.
Yeah, Georgia State against Georgia Tech could be that could get interesting.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like Georgia Tech's gotten over the hump and losing to every Group of 5 team they play.
Yeah, it was weird though. They lost to Bowling Green, but they did beat Miami last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, but back to Central Florida, they almost won against Oklahoma, but they didn't. They smacked Oklahoma State around, but they lost to Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So my rule with Central Florida is, or at least with Gus Malzahn teams, is if they're a huge favorite and everybody's hyping them up, they don't do well.
Mm.
But when they're an underdog and everybody's not saying a word about them, they're gonna be upsetting a lot of teams. Case in point, Oklahoma State at the bounce house last year. Because the week after the Bedlam, Oklahoma State was riding high. They won that last edition against Oklahoma. They're gonna have the last laugh, but they kind of let go to their heads. They were not thinking about Central Florida, but Central Florida was waiting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be weird. I honestly feel like they could beat Arizona. Then a week later, they lose to Arizona State because that Arizona curse seems to get teams. They just do. But yeah. That'll be a good one. Tennessee, North Carolina State. I would like seeing if North Carolina State can get it done. But hope they can get Tennessee.
Yeah, you don't want to play in Arizona late at night in Tucson. There's just
Mm.
something about that Tucson after dark curse.
Yeah.
It gets ugly real quick. But yeah, we got. But so I guess we're at the final part of the show. We're gonna cap it off in a little bit. There we go. So, what are your final thoughts for tonight, Spaz?
I'm just ready. I'm just ready for college football, and I got stuck watching the NFL all day today. I'm just ready for my Saturday and Sunday fall to get here. I'm ready to have some good games and watch some killer football. October 12th is going to be just probably one of the funnest Saturdays of all in quite a while, because you got 3 or 4 just gnarly games on October 12th. And it all starts off with the Red Rivalry. I mean, what more could you ask for on a Saturday?
Well, what are your final thoughts on going into as we get closer to 2024? And what's
Jeez,
Notre Dame?
Dave.
It's always porn time, Dave.
Oh Lord. Now.
We got Virgin Jackson in here, so we got to be careful.
Oh Lord. But yeah, what's going on for Notre Dame, Will?
Well, it's been kind of a long off season. I'm just praying that Deuce Knight stays. I think he's sticking to Notre Dame now. I know everyone said he was going to flip, but from what I've heard, that like Auburn made a push, but it looks like Deuce didn't buy in to what Hugh Freeze is selling. So I think we're going to keep our quarterback. Hopefully, no more injuries. And yeah, just hoping for semifinals or bust this year for sure.
Well, and as for me, we can I'm curious to see how the Alabama Crimson Tide's going to do. I'm really liking what they're bringing for 2024. And it's going to be interesting to see the first season without Coach Saban and first year with Kalen DeBoer. I think we could do a great job in 2024. But so what have you got going on for those? What have you got going on in the adventures of Will and D? Will?
Well, I'm going to Iceland tomorrow for flying over there, so that should be fun. That's what I was looking up stuff about Iceland, so yeah, it should be fun. But I'll probably be back the week after next for CFB After Dark. And I'm gonna try to start making videos again too. After I figure out what my job's gonna be, I'm job searching.
Did you say Iceland or Ireland?
Iceland.
Iceland.
Yeah, he's gonna be
Ireland.
I would like to go to Ireland at some point.
Shit. The hell you going to Iceland for? That shit's cold over there.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. A little chilly, but it'll be fun.
Well, and you can also check out Will on Marcus_era on X. You can also check him out on Klowski414 on Threads and Instagrams. Check him out. Let's get him to 500 on YouTube at Will and D Irish. Spaz, what have you got going on?
Just have I believe we're talking Ohio State this week, and just recruiting. Got a couple more commits next week, I believe, are being announced. I believe the 12th, and we just got a start for one of them today, and we'll see what happens with that. and getting ready for college football. I can't take much more of this Twitter banter and shit. I'm ready for some real football, and then let the real shit talking commence.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. 44 more additions to the Magic 100 for Ducks Live on Oregon Football at the Voice of College Football. Let's get to 2,500 subs. And you can find me, Jackson Johnson, right here on YouTube at Jats Johnson 979 right here on YouTube. You can find me on X at Jats09960335. And you can find me on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. And I can tell you right now, we are getting very close to college football season starting. The summer is fading away fast.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jaden Milroe learning that mid-range game, Jackson, from what you've seen?
Oh, yeah, he is. I
And
believe
Riley Leonard's learning the deep range game this offseason. That's what they've been working with him on.
Well, everybody was saying that Kalen DeBoer was a perfect fit for Jalen Milroe because the one thing he lacked was the mid-range game.
Mm-hmm.
The check, not so much check down, but the shorter routes and whatnot he had issues with. And DeBoer is a good developer of the mid-range game. Just look at what Michael Penix did the last couple of years. So that could spell doom for the SEC. If Jaden Milroe gets his mid-range game going, watch out, SEC.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I think that's going to be a tremendous duo.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get the voice of college football to 45,000. Let's get it to 50,000, 100,000. Let's get it closer to 100,000. Let's get it. Let's get those numbers rolling. And you can also check out Chris Gates Fitness at the Voice of College Football. Get in shape for just $10 your first month. So if you're looking to get in shape, get in contact with Chris Gates Fitness. And it's going to be the best ever. That I can personally guarantee.
Wasn't that Aaron Hernandez's trainer?
No.
Jeez Louise, man. We're supposed to be helping Mark here.
Yeah. But in the meantime, everyone, have a good night. Sleep well. Stay safe. Stay cool. Stay away from the heat. And wonder who we got. Pop-Tart. Play us out.